Carlos Eduardo Ramirez Soto locked the cash register at his auto repair shop on Insurgentes Boulevard in Puebla. It had been 8 years since his daughter, Gabriela, vanished from a birthday celebration for her best friend, and every evening as he shuttered the place, the memory hit him like a punch. She never made it home on the night of July 22nd, 2016. The mechanic, Javier Lopez Herrera, had been on staff for 3 years. That sweltering afternoon, while sweeping the workshop floor, he spotted a cracked concrete slab near the tool shed that had shifted slightly. Curious, he pried it up with a crowbar to fix it later, only to uncover a weathered backpack zipped shut and half buried in the dirt below. "Senor Ramirez, come quick! You won't believe this!" Javier yelled from the side alley. Carlos hurried over, wiping grease from his hands. Javier was holding the backpack, its contents spilling out. A faded smartphone with heart-shaped decals, a stack of crumpled papers, and a delicate gold necklace etched with Gabriela in elegant script. "Where the hell did you find this?" Carlos demanded, his voice trembling as a cold sweat broke out on his forehead. "Right under that slab there. Looks like it was stashed away a long time ago, maybe dumped in a hurry," Javier said, passing it over carefully. Carlos's heart stopped. The phone was the one he'd surprised Gabriela with for her 16th birthday, just weeks before she went missing. The necklace? She'd worn it proudly to her friend Lucia Ana Torres Vargas's party. Peering inside, he saw Gabriela's student ID from the local high school, a crumpled receipt from a corner pharmacy dated July 21st, 2016, and a scribbled note. "All set for tonight. No one will notice. EMR." Without a second thought, Carlos dialed Detective Elena Sofia Mendoza Ruiz, the lead investigator on Gabriela's case back in 2016. Elena arrived within 45 minutes, flanked by a forensics van and 2 techs in white suits. "Carlos, this is the break we've been waiting for after all these years," Elena said, her eyes scanning the items with professional detachment, masking her surprise. "Any clue who might have hidden it here?" "My shop's always buzzing. Mechanics, delivery drivers, even folks cutting through from the street. But Gabriela's phone? We reported it lost that very night. No one outside the family knew the details," Carlos replied, his mind racing. Elena snapped photos and bagged everything meticulously. The receipt detailed a cash purchase of sedatives, adhesive tape, and gloves at 7:15 p.m. on July 24, the day before Gabriela disappeared. No CCTV from back then, but it was a lead. "Those initials EMR ring any bells?" Elena probed. Carlos frowned, but Javier piped up. "Wait, back when everyone was searching for her, some guy showed up here late one night. Skinny, light-haired, around 19. Claimed he was a classmate, asking about lost items. He kept coming back, which creeped out the night shift guy. Name? Can't recall, but Doña Rosa chatted with him. She said he seemed too eager, like he was fishing for info. Just then, Rosa Isabel Garcia de Ramirez, Gabriela's mother, pulled up after Carlos's frantic call. Spotting the backpack, she collapsed into sobs. That necklace. I picked it out with her. She never took it off. How? We tore the city apart that night." Elena prioritized the evidence. The phone went to the state lab for data recovery, hoping against the odds for deleted texts or GPS pings. Fingerprints were dusted, and the note was sent for ink and handwriting analysis. She also requested a list of all shop staff since 2016, plus Gabriela's social circle, especially those at Lucia's party. Carlos provided the rundown: 15 ex-employees, 4 regular parts suppliers, and roughly 25 friends and schoolmates. Rosa filled in the gaps. Gabriela and Lucia were inseparable. The party was at a community hall in the Zocalo area. Lucia's mom said Gabriela stepped out around 10:30 p.m. for air, but never came back. We assumed she hitched a ride home. Any romantic interests? Elena asked gently. Gabriela was focused on her studies. Top of her class, dreaming of university. Her friends dated, but she laughed it off, said boys were a distraction, Rosa said. Diving back into the cold case files, Elena noted the 2016 efforts. Interviews with 40 partygoers, review of nearby traffic cams, which showed nothing useful, and ground searches across Puebla's outskirts. No hits, but now, this changed everything. She headed to the pharmacy on the receipt, a family-run spot still in business. The owner, an elderly man, remembered the era vaguely. Cash sale like that? Yeah, probably some kid. We sold OTC sedatives back then, no questions for small buys, but no cameras. At the prosecutor's office, Elena ran EMR through databases. It pinged Emilio Rafael Morales Diaz, Lucia's on-again, off-again boyfriend from 2016, now 27 and working as a delivery driver. Threads unraveled slowly. Re-interviewing party witnesses revealed Emilio had been seen arguing quietly with Gabriela near the exit, though he'd sworn in 2016 it was just small talk. The phone's recovered data, miraculously intact after years in the elements, yielded a final text at 10:18 p.m. Heading out? Meet me by the alley? Sent to Emilio's old number. Emilio's 2016 alibi crumbled under scrutiny. A warrant for his current apartment turned up a hidden drawer, candid photos of Gabriela from school events, a journal logging her routines, and encrypted chats with two low-level thugs, Pablo Herrera and Victor Sanchez. Petty thieves with priors for theft and assault. The probe intensified. Forensics swept Pablo's rundown garage in the suburbs, finding a rusted pickup truck with trace fibers from Gabriela's party dress and faint blood spatter in the bed, confirmed via DNA as hers. Grilled for hours, Pablo folded. "I swear, detective, I was just the wheelman. Picked her up, drove to the spot. Emilio said it was a prank gone wrong. I didn't touch her." Lucia, subpoenaed next, broke down in tears. "Emilio was obsessed. He pumped me for details on Gabriela's habits, said he wanted to ask her out. I thought it was harmless, until she vanished. He warned me to keep quiet, or I'd be next." The noose closed. Confronted with the texts, fibers, and photos, Emilio cracked during a tense overnight interrogation. "It wasn't supposed to end like that. I just wanted her to like me, you know, to force a conversation." But Emilio spilled the rest. Victor Sanchez had held Gabriela in a remote shack on the outskirts of Atlixco for nearly 2 months, subjecting her to isolation and coercion. In September 2016, Victor panicked during an escape attempt and killed her by asphyxiation. Afterward, he made Emilio and Pablo dispose of her body in a makeshift pit at the shack and scatter personal items, like the phone and necklace, at Carlos's shop to mess with the family and throw off the cops. Exhumation at the Atlixco site yielded skeletal remains, dental records, and DNA matched Gabriela. The coroner's report painted a grim picture. Signs of malnutrition, restraints, and repeated injuries from prolonged captivity. What started as a missing persons cold case exploded into something far darker. Tracing financial wires and burner phones from the confessions, Elena's team uncovered a sprawling human smuggling operation in Puebla from 2014 to 2019. At its core was industrialist Rafael Torres Vargas, Lucia's own uncle, who'd hosted lavish events to scout vulnerable teens. A retired police chief, Antonio Luis Vargas Herrera, had shielded the group, burying tips and falsifying reports. Over 40 girls had been taken. 12 killed, others funneled into forced labor and sex trafficking rings stretching to Veracruz and beyond. Gabriela, at 16, was among the youngest targeted. The bust rocked Puebla. High society figures, local officials, and even a judge faced indictments. 28 arrests followed, with the ring's assets seized to fund victim support. Elena's relentless work exposed layers of graft, leading to federal oversight. For Carlos and Rosa Ramirez, the revelations were a gut-wrenching mix of horror and relief. "Our girl suffered, but her story's saving others," Carlos said at a vigil in the Zocalo, where families of the victims gathered. By 2022, changes rippled out. A dedicated task force for disappearances, mandatory digital forensics training, victim restitution programs, and anonymous tip lines fortified against corruption. On July 22, 2024, 8 years to the day, Detective Elena visited the small memorial Carlos had erected outside the shop, adorned with photos of Gabriela and the other lost girls. Any luck on the ones trafficked out of state? Carlos asked, his voice steady but eyes hopeful. Elena smiled faintly. 15 rescued so far. 10 reunited with families. 5 rebuilding anonymously. The rest, we're not stopping. Gabriella's name, once a private sorrow, echoed nationwide. A catalyst for policy shifts, training programs, and a fiercer war on exploitation. In Puebla's shadows, her light now guided the hunt for justice.